Iran stepped up its nuclear bomb program, while America looked for a way to thwart it. In the heart of the Rocky Mountains, in the isolated town of Idaho Falls, the Secret Services would test their new weapon, codenamed Olympic Games.
Here in the United States, they built what essentially was a virtual model of the Natanz nuclear enrichment site. They built a model of the plant, not the full size, and they spread it out over many of the U.S. national laboratories so that even people working in the laboratories weren't clear what they were trying to do. But the idea was to replicate the operation of the plant and see whether they could make the centrifuges explode.
Using the centrifuges seized on the BBC China in 2003, American researchers would try out a new weapon, a computer worm known as Stuxnet. This IT engineer was the first to analyze the devastating effects of this virus.
Well, what's really interesting about Stuxnet is it was very, very targeted in its purpose. It was looking specifically for computers that were running the hardware used to spin uranium cylinders. Once it was infecting those machines, what it did was spin those machines at such a high rate that those cylinders would, in essence, be destroyed.
They finally did, and one day, they took the rubble from one of these centrifuges, flew it to Washington.
The CIA hackers required the president's authorization to launch their new Millennium War. They went head-to-head with George W. Bush in the White House crisis room.
Brought it to the White House and dumped it out on the conference room table inside the Situation Room. It was then that President Bush said, "Okay, go ahead and try."
In June 2010, Operation Olympic Games was deployed. On the other side of the planet, in Natanz, Iran's biggest nuclear enriching plant suffered a cyber attack worthy of a spy novel.
The malware was brought in by somebody who did business with this place, probably on a USB drive. That USB drive came out of their pocket and went into one of the computers there, and now a computer inside that plant is infected.
Different versions of the worm had different impact. In the case of the Stuxnet variety, there was an effort to go after a particular group of a little less than 1,000 of the 5,000 centrifuges that were operating at that time.